So look, over 5 years ago, I only had $400 in my bank account, and I was also struggling with so much anxiety, it got to the point I couldn't even leave the house and go for a walk in the neighborhood for months. Whereas nowadays, I'm able to make upwards of $1,000 a day with my own consulting business. And by the way, that's coming from a lower middle class background. Now I'm warning you, the stuff I'm going to reveal in this video is so boring, it could put you to sleep, but it will make even beginners $10,000 per month. The first step to be able to make $10,000 per month and even more is to get rid of all of your limiting beliefs. Right now, the truth is, I could give you a proven step-by-step process to build your business to become financially free. I could even give it to you for free, but if you have limiting beliefs, you would still struggle to get results. Something I had to learn the hard way is that most of the time, the thing that's holding us back is not even real. It's not even based on a tangible obstacle. Rather, the thing that's really holding ourselves back is our mindset. When you're trying to build or grow a business, there are typically two types of problems you can face: real, tangible obstacles and imaginary obstacles. So to give you an example of what this would look like in practice, a real tangible obstacle would be that you had 40 sales meetings with potential customers, but all of them said no and you didn't sign a single customer. That's a real problem, and we need to figure out exactly what you need to do in order to fix that problem. However, an imaginary problem would be the fear of not signing any customers, the fear that the market is too saturated, the fear that you're not good enough and you don't have enough authority to sell what you want to sell. Those are not real. It's not a rejection from a customer. It's not a lack of visibility. It's a problem that you created in your mind. And the mind loves to do that, to create imaginary problems. That's your brain's way of convincing you it's better to stay in your comfort zone as opposed to take action. One day somebody told me that the richest part of the world, it was the graveyard, because there's plenty of talented poets and scientists and business owners buried there. But the thing is, because throughout their lives, they let their fears and their doubts hold them back, they never became who they were supposed to be. They never became that talented poet or scientist or business owner, even though they had the potential. That's the thing with potential. You can utilize it, see what you're truly capable of, or let it go to waste. But if you do, you won't have accomplished your life's mission. To be very raw and vulnerable, over 5 years ago, I wanted to be successful so bad, because growing up in a lower middle class family, we suffered from lack of money. My parents worked unfulfilling jobs for a small pay, and they weren't getting much recognition for the services they were providing. And every time my younger sister and I wanted to purchase something, we'd often be told it was too expensive. Every day, I would hear my parents complaining about the price of bread, of gas, of electricity. While at the same time at school, I could see these wealthy kids getting driven around by their parents in brand new Porsches and BMWs. Every year they'd get the latest iPhone, while at the time, I didn't even have a phone. And every morning, I had to force myself to get up super early so I could take the crowded bus to go to school. So I knew for a fact, wealthier people lived a much better lives, much more comfortable lives. And I couldn't see why we couldn't deserve to be wealthier too. But the thing is, my parents didn't know what wealthier people knew. Otherwise, they would have been wealthier themselves. And throughout their lives, they never questioned the way they were told to do things. They were told, get a job, sell your time, pay your taxes, be a good consumer, that's it, have kids, that's it. They never questioned the beliefs that were passed on to them. And so they never tried to break out of this social class. And so from a very young age, I knew it was my duty to get my family out of hell, to become successful, so I could not only show my parents there was an alternative path, but so I could help them out. And I also wanted to be able to be successful and to make a lot of money, so I could always be there for my sister and provide for her if needed. When I was younger, my mother got diagnosed with cancer, and so I was afraid to death to lose her. And one of the things I promised my mother is that I would always be there for my younger sister. And so of course I couldn't break my promise to her. I had to figure out a way to become successful. But over 5 years ago, I was anxious. I was held back by so many fears, so many limiting beliefs. I would procrastinate, I would overthink, even though I knew I needed to take action. But I realized the one thing that was preventing me from getting everything I wanted in life, it was fear. Fear of rejection, fear of being humiliated, fear of being criticized, fear. And so I realized that if I stayed a scared, anxious little boy, I would never achieve anything. And successful people were not scared or anxious. They were bold, they were willing to take risks. And unlike a lot of people seem to think, courage is not the absence of fear. It's doing what you need to do to become successful or to get what you want, regardless of how you feel. So you would do it even if you're scared, you feel the fear and you do it anyway. And so I grabbed a piece of paper and a pen and I made a list of everything I was afraid to do at the time. And I told myself, I'm going to force myself to do one thing that scares me every single day until I become fearless, until nothing can stop me anymore. And that's exactly what I did. And 99% of the time, I realized, wow, that's it. Like I overcame my fear and that's it. It was that easy. So I held myself back for months and for years because of imaginary fears in my head. And I wasted so much time because of it. And most of the time, the fears that you have, the problems that you imagine, they won't even happen. So you have to stop letting imaginary roadblocks hold you back. Sometimes you have to be willing to take a leap of faith. That's what all the greats did. Now, if you want want to discover in detail how I went from struggling financially to making upwards of $1,000 a day with my own consulting business, I've recorded a free video in which I explain everything step by step. That way, you can literally just copy me. The link will be in the description. Or if you're committed to starting your business and becoming financially free so you can get the life that you deserve, have more free time to do the things that you love, have more money to spend on the things that actually matter to you, you can directly book a free call with me or my team and we'll see if we can help you. If you want to make a lot of money, you need to do the one thing I'm about to share in 1 second. You need to solve a painful problems for people. That is what gets you paid. You have to realize that in business, it's all about what the customer wants. The customer doesn't care about who you are. The customer doesn't care that you want to make money. The customer doesn't care if you're a man or a woman or if you're young or old. All the customer cares about is that you can help them to solve the painful problem that they have. That's literally it. If an 11-year-old had the cure to cancer, like it was guaranteed, and the love of your life had cancer, would you be like, oh no, you're 11 years old, I'm not going to pay you, even though your stuff works? You'd be insane. Of course you'd buy the solution. You wouldn't go to the 50-year-old doctor who tells you, I'm sorry, I can't do anything for you, but we might try this treatment and it might work, but it's not guaranteed. You have like a 20% chance of success. Who would you buy from? The 11-year-old who's got that medical treatment because let's say he's a genius, so he came up with it and it's got a success rate of 90%, or the 50-year-old doctor which has a treatment which isn't even proven to work and it's a 20% success rate at most. The reason why I'm giving this silly example is so you realize the only thing that matters for your customer is solving the painful problem that they have. That's all. They don't care about how pretty your website is, they don't care about any of that. And I speak to lots of people on a weekly basis, and typically people have very painful problems. People want to start a business because they hate their job, they feel trapped, they want more freedom, they want to be in control of their time, they want to be able to buy luxuries as well, nice things, to provide a good life for their family. So every time there's a very deep source of motivation behind wanting to start a business. Now if you were to help somebody to overcome an addiction, there's a very painful problem associated to that addiction. If you help a business to grow their revenue by, let's say, giving them more leads, helping them to book more appointments with potential customers, it's not just about making more money for the business, it's about what that money would allow the business owner to do. So you're never selling to just a business owner or an entity. Whether you sell to consumers or business owners, either way you're selling to people and you sell solutions to painful problems. And the bigger and the more painful the problem that you solve for people, the more money you'll be able to charge for it, because it's an extremely valuable transformation you're helping people to make. Why do people go to the gym? They buy a solution to their painful problem, which is that they're out of shape. Why do people go to McDonald's? They buy a solution to a problem, which is that they're hungry, they want some food, they want something tasty to eat. Everything that you purchase, every transaction that everybody makes is all to solve a problem. And that's why you need to sell services or consulting and not some crappy physical products. If you're a beginner, I highly discourage that you start a business model like dropshipping. So back in 2019-2020, with one of my friends, we decided to try dropshipping with paid ads. But the thing is, we were both broke. We couldn't afford to spend hundreds of dollars per day on ads or thousands of dollars per month. Nevertheless, we decided to try. And even though I didn't believe in this business model, because I could clearly see its many flaws, I figured I had nothing to lose and I could learn from that experience, even if I ended up making no money. So we built a Shopify store, we found a winning product, which was a flat squeeze mop, and I made some Facebook ads, and I remember I clicked on the button to launch the ad, and only 30 minutes later, we made our first sale. We made $50. So that moment made me realize, wow, I just made money literally for doing some work in my bedroom in my pajama pants. It felt insane. But what ended up happening is that Facebook ads ate up all of our budget. So sure, we made $50, but we spent almost $200 on ads, and that didn't even include the cost of the product, the flat squeeze mop, or the shipping, or the softwares. In business, what matters is what you make, not what you keep. If you make $1 million, but you only keep $100,000, that's terrible. Sure, you can flex and say, oh, I made $1 million. Yeah, right, but you're still struggling in reality. So let's do the math. If you had a dropshipping business, you were selling some kind of product for $50, in order to make $10,000 per month consistently, you would need to convince 250 new customers to pay you every month. That's far from being easy. And on top of that, profit margins are extremely thin, typically between 9 up to 20%. So out of the $10,000 you made, you would only keep in profit $900 up to $2,000, and that's before taxes. You will need to pay taxes as a company, so corporate tax, and in most countries it's typically going to be about 25%, even more. So after corporate tax, you will be left with anywhere from $675 all the way up to 1.5k, when remember, initially you made $10,000. And on top of that, if you want to use that money for yourself, to make personal transactions, you will need to pay yourself with dividends or a salary, and then pay income tax as an individual this time. So your business pays taxes and you pay taxes too as an individual. So in the end, when we do the math, you are more broke than somebody working full-time at a fast food joint, even though you made $10,000 in a month initially. But when you sell services or consulting, you can help your customers in 3 different ways. The first is to sell services that you know how to deliver yourself. Let's say say you're very good with web design or video editing or things like that. You could sell that as a service. Now let's say you have something to teach, to coach people on. Let's say in the past you overcame an addiction. You can help people to do the same. Let's say you were able to build a successful e-commerce store. You could help people to do the same. You could coach people. And then, what if you have no skills and no previous experience? You can still sell services even if you don't know how to deliver services yourself. And the way you would do that is by leveraging remote contractors. So your job would be to find customers, close deals with customers, and then you get a contractor to do the work for your customers. That's literally what CEOs do all over the world. They hire people to do the work for their customers, and the CEO is the one who manages the structure, who makes the decisions. And with this business model, you can charge anywhere from $500 up to $5,000 per customer, and it can be even more depending on what you sell and who you sell it to. But what matters, remember, is not what you make, it's what you keep. So how much would you keep in profit? Well, typically when you sell services or consulting, profit margins are extremely high. You would keep between 80% up to 98% in terms of profit. So this means if you made $10,000, you would keep between $8,000 to $9,998. Whereas with business models like dropshipping, remember, you would only keep around $900 up to $2,000, and that's before taxes. So look, you need to make a choice now. You can keep watching YouTube videos on how to make money online, but doing that won't make you any money. Or if you're committed to starting your business and becoming financially free so you can finally live life the way that you want to, have the freedom and the abundance that you deserve, you can check out the free resources in the description below or directly book a free call with me or my team, and we'll see if we can help you. That being said, if you found this video helpful, share it with a friend, and together, let's blow up this YouTube channel to empower ambitious individuals across the globe to become financially free.